How, looking back, how much did it mean to you to include bands like August Red Moon and Snow and bands that maybe, didn't get to the level of an Armored Saint or a Metallica or Megadeth to kind of get their name back out there again, to try to, fuel people's interest in them again? How much did you purposefully do that when you started this series?
It meant a lot to me. And I wanted to, when I originally got together with Joe and Warren, Warren is the person behind Metal Rock Films or movies. And back then, I don't know if it was streaming when we started. It was like 2012. But we had a really good conversation. And, we fought a lot because he, obviously he wanted all the name bands. And it's like, look, I want to start from the beginning. No one's touched the Starwood era, that Van Halen era, and all that. And my whole thing was to get the bands that were popular then, because
Right.
as you know, the bands like Snow and Smile and Quiet Riot and Van Halen, they were all on the same level. They were all headliners,
Right.
at the Starwood and all these different clubs. So I wanted to bring the viewer back to 1978 or whatever, when we do these discussions. And that was a main thing for me. But then he saw like a rough edit of the first movie, Pioneers of LA Hard Rock and Metal, and he like flipped out. He goes, dude, I won't question you again. This is really good. But again, I wanted to, I know there was a lot of artists and bands that people were not familiar with, but I definitely wanted to include them because not only were they big on the scene, but they were very influential to me. They were like some of the first local metal bands that got me into that whole local metal scene, prior to, Armored Saint and Metallica and, Rat and Motley Crue and all that kind of stuff.